5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From the edge of the box is Madden. Madden trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there! Oh my word! What a goal from Paddy Madden! The Irishman strikes again! And is that the goal that's going to send Stockport County back into the Football League?
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Scarf Begar Award, the only show in the world that takes a weekly look back at all things county. There were competitors, but we've seen them off or bored them into submission, one of the two. Yes, this is, of course, the 54th episode of what has been a landmark year for county, and there's quite a lot to chat about this week, considering there's only been one game. Should technically be another game going on, like right as we speak, but stick it up with your arse, Cheshire FA. Maybe we should apply to join the Manchester FA. That suggestion getting all the enthusiasm it deserves there. That's what I like to see. I'm your host, Nick Lee, this week without my trusty companion, Russ Johnson, who's been struck down with a severe case of cup fever. Russ, get well soon, mate. We know it doesn't end well when I'm left in charge of this absolute shower. What shower, I hear you ask? This shower. Delighted to be joined by the member of our family with the most soothing tone. It is, of course, Jonathan the Geordie Hatter. How are we, Jonathan?
I'm all right. I'll have to turn my more soothing tone on now, won't I, for the duration.
Well, someone needs to have one, because I go and listen back to these and I get very annoyed by my voice. So yeah, I'm sure everyone else does it. It'll be fine. And our guest tonight is a long-time friend of the show. It is Andy James, who I don't think has his camera on, but is he here? No, he's not. Fantastic. We'll just vamp until he's ready. Come on, Andy. Come on.
What's going on there?
Oh God! Oh, you're having a great time with it, Andy. What? This is. See, Russ has a week off, and this is what happens.
I'm glad it's not just me. I've had this experience before, haven't I? You'll be clicking away in the background there. Suddenly it'll just work. You'll be here.
Well, we wait for Andy to sort his technology out. Oh, it's so well last time he was on. He was straight on, no messing about. But before we do, I'd like to issue a gentle reminder to subscribe to us on whatever platform you use to watch or listen to the show. Rate, like, review, even sidle up to a stranger on the bus and tell them all about it. You know, we're not fussy at all, not fussy at all. But yes, with that in mind, we do have lots to cover. A week of one game, and we've got a lot to cover. So let's get straight into it. Andy, can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Can you hear me?
Yes, we have sound from Andy at the very least. That will do.
I am clicking the camera button, but it is not opening. Oh, am I there? Hello. Who knows?
Yeah, you're still there. Just about. You're hanging in there. Just like me, to be honest. Today I've been that rough. Oh God.
I wish I was. Tell you, mate. Oh dear.
Oh, I'm not doing that again until next round. Oh God! Right. So first things first, then we should get onto the Charlton game, and probably the best way to do it is chronologically. A nice early goal. How was that? Going one. I had shades of the Watford game years ago where we went 1-0 up and then went on to get trounced. But yeah, going a goal up performance, and Chris Hussey is gaining a bit of form for swinging these goals in from impossible angles. So before we get onto it, let's have a little look at the first goal. See, Russ is going to be so impressed that I've got the 2 weeks in a row. I've got all the little clips ready. He's going to love me even more than he already does.
Stockport with a corner. Hussey will take and get it back and deliver in, and it's gone straight in. What a start for Stockport. Inside the opening 5 minutes, they lead.
Thoughts?
I mean, there's nobody at the club at the minute who's hitting a ball better with the left foot, is there really?
Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, it's just beautiful, isn't it? And hello, by the way, Andy. It's good to see you. Well, not
Good
see
to see you, Jonathan. Yeah, or not. Yeah, it's probably best, to be fair. I've been out on the piss all afternoon, so it's best for everyone.
Well, it's good to see you here, Andy. I suppose that it's like I think we're at the stage now with Chris Hussey where he's got a corner kick, he's got a ball wide. You think he's going to score here, you know? I mean, he's going to trouble the goalkeeper, you know. So he has got a lovely strike on him, hasn't he? And I think that, I suppose that when he came, I think back to when he came, and it was a little bit like, well, who's this guy we've signed, or how have we managed to miss the deadline and, you know, got this guy who seems like a bit of an emergency signing almost. But I really like how he's come and settled in so well, and really become a real addition to the squad, hasn't he? I think he's been fantastic. Really reliable. You know, I never worry about him. He's always in the right place.
Yeah, I think that comes down with the experience he's got as well, though, doesn't it? You know, coming from, obviously he's been in the league a long time and whatnot. I was getting him from Vale, which was, what was it, 2-3 days after he scored against us in that Pizza Cup anyway. So
he wasn't there? Aye, he belted that one as well, didn't he? Now I think about it, so it should be so surprised. That was about 30 yards out, top corner, wasn't it? I think I remember. And you know, he's played like 400 games, so he knows what he's about, doesn't he? But you know, he's already had some decent moments, the goals, and I remember, was it which recent home game was it where he comes in with a slide tackle from like 25 yards away and leaves the guy in the main stand? I like that as well. I can't remember which game it was, but I enjoyed it. I thought, this is good. I like this guy.
You don't see enough slide tackles these days, do you?
You don't.
No, people are scared,
not from 20 yards away. You know, where you can see it coming. You know what I mean? I love those.
Yeah.
I love the ones where, like you say, they just track back from halfway and they just slide, and it looks as if they slide in for ages just to get to the ball, and it's clean as anything.
Yeah.
And none of that Solskjaer against Spurs stuff.
Oh yeah.
A proper tackle. Get the ball. You're not going for the man. Just get him hit. Get the ball and get away. That's the one.
And everybody can see it coming in the crowd apart from the player who's running with the ball. I like that kind of tackle. Because he's always a bit like that, I think, recently.
Yeah. One of them where no amount of shouts of man on are going to make a difference in that situation. You just know it's getting won regardless.
Yeah. He's ended up in row C.
Yeah. And he's just left us again. And Andy is so excited by the prospect of slide tackles. I think he's going to go. Oh, he's back. I thought he's just running around the house practicing slide tackles on his missus.
Oh, no.
Like I do.
I think it's going to be the other way around.
Someone needs to put you in your place. So, unfortunately, the joy was a bit short-lived as Charlton went on to score one of the weirdest goals you'll see. That I'm still not quite sure who it's been credited to. Credited to. Let's have a gander.
Have a touch, and we'll receive it back. Charlton on the move. Kirk in possession. Sessignon. Two Stockport players facing him up and still going to the byline. Oh, that's an own goal, I think. Lewis with a final touch. Doesn't matter. Charlton are level.
Charlton fans not all that interested in that goal by the sounds of it. By the sounds of their reaction.
What Charlton fans?
What Charlton fans, yeah. And it would help. We'd probably have a better idea who'd scored if the players looked like they've cared. Like, I don't think either of their goals are particularly celebrated. I just noticed that again looking at the highlights today. Like, I know that there wasn't many fans in, but you still generally see the players. It was like they were down the five-a-side on a Tuesday night, that wasn't it? You know what I mean? Like a little shake of hands, and let's start the game again. Or the 1950s. Like the 1950s.
Just a simple handshake and walk away.
That's
all it is.
Quite quaint, really, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the type of celebration my dad would like, I think. He's not one for all the. He's been getting very angry at Ronaldo this week, mostly. My dad has. Just like, look at him, look at the state of him, just for daring to celebrate a goal. So,
to be
nice
fair,
handshake.
I'd be pissed off at Ronaldo celebrating a goal he didn't even get a slightest hair to. Yeah. And it's the most immaculate hairline ever. So he'd know more than anyone if he'd got a touch on that.
Yeah. I mean, if that's David Luiz, he's getting the goal. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But it's not as Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, absolutely mental.
Yeah. There's no way he touches it. I don't even know why it's a debate. There's no way he touches it.
No, it was quite, you could tell by the ball not changing direction at all. It was just the same spin maintained. It's like, well, what do you want to do with that? So yeah, but Russ will be loving this, but yeah, the turnout from Charlton, as you've both mentioned, was absolutely diabolical. Just terrible. I know there's cost of living crisis and it's before Christmas and stuff, but they've made an effort to do cheap tickets to get people in. No Premier League football on, so you think they get a few down, and it's just look like a friendly or something. The turnout really, really poor from a team that I thought was quite a big club as well.
Well, to be fair, if Alan Pardew or who's the other one, Alan Kirbishley was still there, there would still be a big club, but just a shit show, really, wasn't it? All in all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a look on their message board as well, and they're not very happy on their message board. Like I think a lot of them want them to get knocked out of the cup because they don't want the prospect of their chairman picking up any of the money that they're going to make off it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Fair bit of unrest there at the moment. Yeah, they just seem to be treading water by the sounds of it.
We've been there as well. I mean, there was somebody on a particular message board this week that accused Jim Gannon of throwing a game in the cup years ago, which absolutely blew my bleeding mind. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
I mean, that it's still a discussion and it's still being discussed.
What is it? 13 years later, 12 years later, whatever it is. It's bonkers. Of all the people to accuse that of, though, the most professional of people who, I mean, the guy could be cleaning toilets and he'd make it the most immaculate toilet in the world. He's that dedicated to anything he does. To think he'd throw a game is just beggars belief. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's mad how this stuff just kind of becomes fact over, as far as people are concerned, that's gospel now.
Well, that's it. Yeah, one pisshead in the Royal Oak says it, and that's it. Jim threw a game. Right? Fucking.
Well, you shouldn't have said it, should you, Andy?
No, yeah. Anyone would think he was the Juventus chairman or something.
Yeah. Oh, there's a club that's getting their comeuppance, and I'm very much enjoying it. It's all
thoroughly deserved.
Yes. And
yeah.
Talking of thoroughly deserved and going to shit. After Charlton level, they kind of had their only spell of the game really, where they actually looked like a League One side, zipped the ball about quite nicely, culminating in a fairly nicely worked second goal. To be fair.
Sessignon. This is Dobson. To go long and direct. Morgan takes it down. That is a wonderfully worked goal by Albie Morgan. And Charlton now lead by 2-1. Brilliant football from the Addicts.
Albie Morgan. If ever there was the name of a footballer who played in like the wartime leagues, it was Albie Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another tribute, like the goal celebrations to the 1950s heyday, isn't it? Peter's 70,000 fans used to come, couldn't have turned up as well and made it a proper throwback to Charlton Athletics heyday. No, it's a nice goal, isn't it? It's a FIFA goal, if you'd ever call it one. Do you know what I mean?
Very similar to Mullin twice in the FA Trophy last year. You know, Ben just can't get out quick enough.
Yeah, and it kind of looks bad on the goalkeeper, doesn't it? Like maybe Mullins one did, but actually, do you know what? The guy comes through, bouncing ball, lobs it over your head. There's not without a pair of step ladders, you're not stopping that, are you? You know.
No, it's one of them deft touches that just literally lift it too far above the keeper's hands. You wouldn't even class it as a normal goal, really.
Yeah, got to give him that one.
Yeah, very good touch. I mean, just to even get a touch on it, really, to be fair.
His first touch takes it down, and then he's just all set for the finish, isn't he? So I wonder if that was during the spell of the game. I was watching Challoner's interview, and he was saying that he thought, in effect, he was saying he thought we paid them too much respect for the spell, and that's when they kind of got back into it, wasn't it, and got ahead. Whereas whenever we basically played with belief and intensity, we, as we're probably about to say in a minute, right, we actually took the game to them, right?
That's it. I mean.
That's
same
what it seemed
like last season, just going for it, like nothing to lose. Might as well go for it, and I think we saw that in the second half because I was listening on Radio Manchester, which aside from being pretty terrible coverage because you could tell they'd not done the homework, we had references to Southern Hales for like pretty much the whole game, which upset me. But second half, it was just this relentless tide of county pressure, just constant. It seemed, I think from about the hour mark, I was just convinced we were going to get that equalised. I mean, I said on it last week, because your prediction as well, Jonathan, was a draw, wasn't it? And
I said 2-2. You said 3-3. Is that right? Or was it the other way? Yeah.
I think you said one each, and I
That's
said
right. I
3
knew I hadn't
each.
got it right. I knew I hadn't got it right. When I
right
said
in the
that, I
middle.
thought, no, I would
yeah.
have remembered if I got it right. Yeah. We split the difference.
And then it seemed as though the referee decided to implement the World Cup rules of like putting as much stoppage time as he can on, and we got what was it, 7 minutes or so?
Yeah. 97th minute, wasn't it? I think when it went in.
Yeah. And then we got our just rewards with this lovely header from Miles.
Southern Hales with a corner. Deep into added on time here. Hippolyte with a header! 2-2! What a story! Stockport earned the replay at the death.
So I'd have been over the boards into the fans, me. In that, I was very surprised that the celebrations didn't take place over there. It was just kind of that was almost a bit of a muted celebration as well, considering it's like a last-minute equaliser like that. You'd think, go mental.
Do you know what? I was just thinking that when I saw it. Yeah. I don't know. Are they playing it cool, these footballers? I don't like that. When you say footballers, they don't smile when they score nowadays. I'm sure your dad would agree with on that one as well, Nick. You know what I mean? When they kind of snarl. It's like, come on, be happy to score in the last minute,
And the whole thing of not celebrating against your former club as well. Like, I've no time for that either.
No, balls to that. If anything, you should go and celebrate twice as hard in front of your former club. Look at when you're
Danny Lloyd approach,
mate.
Yeah. Climb up on the barrier behind the goal. You know what I mean? And kind of give it.
Give it the big one. Yeah.
Incite a riot, basically. That's what you said.
Yeah, quite right. I think when we had Danny Lloyd on back in the day, he basically said, well, no one's going to celebrate it for you. You might as well just go mental, regardless if you score it. Same with Gary Stopford as well. Yeah, that's it. That's what you never know. You could score, and then 5 minutes later, break your leg, and your career could be ended. So, yeah, you might as well imagine that. Imagine your last action in professional football being refusing to celebrate a goal, and then it all ends.
Yeah, no way. Imagine scoring the winner in an FA Cup final against a team you used to play against and not celebrating. So if I was the owner of that club and that player didn't celebrate, I'd be more pissed off that they didn't celebrate than anything else in the world. So I'm paying your wages for you to win me that cup, mate. You fucking go and celebrate.
Yeah. And the fans are paying your wages. The fans who, who are in the ground. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's. I suppose you get the odd time when it's like somebody's been a club legend, played 1,000 games, and comes back to play against them, whatever. But unless you're in that kind of category, then no, celebrate the goal, especially if you're in front of your previously adoring legions of fans, especially. Yeah.
For all the talk of our equaliser and everything as well, I've forgotten that Ben Hinchliffe made a fantastic save as well, a little tip over the bar when he looked very out of position, and great recovery, I thought. Yeah,
it was. The first time I saw it, I thought, has it just hit the bar? But actually, he's got a hand of that, hasn't he? He's run back and he's tipped it over the bar, and that's because if that goes in, it's like the Tottenham one, the Neymar one, isn't it? It would have been. He wouldn't have lived that down for some time. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So But that was
to be fair to Ben. Yeah. To be fair to Ben, his recoveries have always been one of the best parts of his game.
Yeah.
I think he's. I mean, there's a poster on one message board who's just obsessed with tearing him down at the moment, which is just a stunt after everything he's done, and the amount of times where you think he's been displaced, and you think, oh, this could be the end for him, and he just once again just comes back and is in great form. And I don't think his distribution's as bad as some people make up, compared to some of the keepers we've seen at this level and at higher levels, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think his kicking is pretty decent.
Look at Chris Adamson. His kicking was abysmal.
God almighty. Well,
I mean,
Ben
to be
Walker
fair,
had
though,
stolen his cycling shorts, hadn't he? So maybe that maybe that contributed.
I mean, we would never be at this level, and it is a fact. We wouldn't be at this level right now without Ben. There's no way of that. We would have never got out of the National North. We'd have never got out of the National League without Ben Hinchliffe. There's no way of that.
Yeah,
We went through however many keepers when we was in League 2 and League 1. What did we have in one season? We had 3 Premier League loanee goalkeepers in Hennessy, Ruddy, Logan. And the fact that now still, like, all these years later, we're criticising Ben, who's played nearly 300 games for us, is ridiculous.
It's the same with Palmer as well. He got a well. We'll come on to Ash in a bit actually, but some of the criticism he got, and he said it was unthinkable even up to like 5 or 6 years ago. It was unthinkable that we'd have players who'd be with us for hundreds of games. Like that turnover in the National League North of like a full squad every season. And so we've had players who've been with us from Division 6 playing part-time football to doing a job in the Football League. It's just such a turnaround.
And the big thing, I mean, apart from the players that are obviously still playing with us, obviously Ash has just gone. But the fact is, a couple of weeks ago, we had Sam Minihan, Matty Warburton, and Jordan Keane all sat in the stands watching the same game. From players that have played for us, and if they've got a Saturday off or they're injured or whatever, they're still coming back to watch us. That's a big, big thing about what we've done over the last few years.
yeah.
For so long, just wanting to have players who got it in the same way that we did, and to have pretty much a full team of players like that, it's unthinkable. Like there's clubs at the top. I mean, I'm sure Man United would die for a bunch of players who actually get it rather than just picking up the wages every week. And it's just, to have that at the level we've been at and the level we're still at now, it's just nothing short of miraculous, I think. Ian Dowden points out Ben's 300th game will be Boxing Day.
That's so
300
good,
games.
Yeah.
Is that against Crewe? Is it Boxing Day, Crewe?
It is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope it gets a little bit spicy, that game. Just in the stands, nothing on the streets. So some really, really heavy-handed chanting towards their end.
Well, I've had stuff saved up for about 10 years, so it's all gonna come out. Yeah. Spicy in the stands, mild in the streets. That seems fair enough. I can get on board with that. Yeah.
It's not going to make it as a rap song, though, is it?
No, but I think my rap career is well and truly gone now. I don't think.
Especially with that Fringe tonight, mate.
Yeah. Well, I was saying to Jonathan before, he was asking if it was a fashion choice or a weather, a coldness choice, but it's just the fact I'm very hungover and I've not washed my hair yet today. So there you go. People just seeing behind the curtain there. You know, they think we get makeup and everything before we come. I mean, Russ does. Russ has got like his team of makeup artists to sort everything out, but me, no, just old shithouse face over here. I just get on with it. Low maintenance. So our reward
Man of the people.
Man of the people, yeah, well and truly, yeah. That's gonna be the slogan for my political career. I've moved from rap to politics. That's gonna be it next. Yeah.
All right, Kanye, calm down.
Yeah. I'm probably close to being as mental as him. To be fair, yeah, he's batshit, isn't he? Like, God,
off the scale nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, there's just no need.
£200,000 a week. He's now got to pay his child support to a woman who has probably never ever changed a nappy in her life. Honestly, it's not just OJ that her dad's represented, is it? Clearly, he's done a grand job on her there, hasn't he?
Yeah, get him straight in the courtroom, sorting it out. Oh Christ! So our reward from drawing with Charlton is a televised clash on. Well, I say televised. It's ITV4. It doesn't really count. It's if you're having to like scroll through the channels for more than a couple of minutes to find ITV4, then it doesn't count. But more importantly, the winner of that will.
If you're having to watch it on ITV4, then you can't call yourself a county fan. You should be at the bloody ground. As Russ would say, you should be at the ground.
Yeah. By the time I find ITV4, I can probably walk to Edgley Park. By the time I scroll past QVC and the Welsh channel, I may as well just walk down Shore Heath. You know what I mean? Probably the electricity will cost £10 anyway nowadays. So I'll just go to the game.
I'm surprised
see
you
them
got the
make
lights
it
on, to be
affordable.
honest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just the one. All the heat and the light in this house is concentrated in this one room at the minute. That's why me.
Yeah. Wife sat there in the dark, like waiting for you to finish. So yeah, they've made it affordable. £10 tickets again. So I'm guessing both clubs have agreed to that. There seems to be a real push this season because I've noticed a lot of clubs having reduced tickets for the FA Cup. So it seems to be quite the push to get people going. I think I think it'll be close to selling out. I know Charlton won't be bringing too many. You'd expect a couple of hundred at most. But other than that, it should be. We might have another Bolton on our hands here, chaps.
I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it will be. I think it'll be a big. I think it'll be a big crowd, like it was for Bolton last year. Because, it's not as if I heard somebody say that. Oh, because it's only Walsall in the next round, you might not get so many in. But I was saying to you before, Nick, wasn't it? I don't think that's a massive factor. I think that you get the momentum in a cup run, you get the supporters feeling that they're behind the team, and also I think there's a little bit of a factor of, do you know what? We'll get Walsall next. We'll knock Walsall out, then we've got a proper chance of one of the big guns in the what would be the fourth round then, right? So yeah, bring it on.
I completely agree with you, Jonathan. I mean, do you know what? It's like there's people turning the noses up at the first round game, and it's like, hang on, 2-3 years ago, we'd have been biting our hands off just to even be in the first round.
Yeah.
We had to go through 3 rounds of qualifiers just to get there. So anyone who will take the FA Cup for granted is just, it's bloody stupid. So come on, look at it. It's like we can go. All right. So what is it? So the team after Walsall, who can we get them? We can get anyone.
Yeah, and then, you're kind of something like a 1 in 2 chance. I would have said then again, a Premiership team, right? If you think that maybe say there's 32 teams in that round, if I work it out right, say 16 Premiership teams get through, then that's kind of your chances, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I'm holding out for Newcastle in the fourth round of quarterfinals.
Anything for a trip to Newcastle away. Newcastle away any day of the week. I'm there. What a stunning city for a night out.
I'd absolutely love it. So just somewhere that we don't. It's somewhere like Newcastle, someone we've not played in most of our lifetimes, and I kind of wouldn't mind Everton away again either. Just purely from a selfish point of view, I want to go to Goodison before they move.
Yeah. Everton away in the cup. 02-03 was it when Rooney came off the bench?
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then ran to swap shirts with Stuart Barlow, his hero, at the end.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Campbell starting and whatnot. It was I mean, even people like playing against Lee Carsley and stuff like that. It's like just an average Premier League player. It'd be good just to see again. I mean, we've seen obviously Leicester this year and West Ham last season, but just to go up against players of that level again, it just shows we're on the right track to where we need to be going.
It does,
I mean, I would stress that we've got Charlton and Walsall to get past first, but I can't see us having a problem with Charlton. I think we'll beat Charlton in the replay, and then Walsall is probably the most winnable. I'm just glad we didn't get Wrexham away. That would have really upset me because I just don't fancy having them away.
No, but I don't fancy being on season 2 of This Is Wrexham shit show again.
Yeah. Making out like some big thing that they beat us in the cup when they're still stuck in non-league.
Yeah, I loved that though. To be fair, they dedicated an entire episode to beating us twice, and still didn't beat us to the league. It was fantastic viewing,
and it was almost just glossed over at the end as well. It was almost like, we didn't.
We've not won the league, but it's okay because look, David Beckham's at Wembley.
Yeah.
I
love it. They kind of made out as though like Wembley was like the big prize at the end of the season. No, you've already lost. No, awful stuff.
Yeah, it's like anything to do with American sports, really, isn't it? You can finish 10th and still go to the Superb Owl. It's weird.
Yeah, Superb. Yeah. Having a World Series that only has American teams in it.
Only has one country involved, because there's not another 300 countries around the world, mate. No worries. You do you, hun.
Well, I was looking at the World Cup. The next World Cup is in America, Canada, and Mexico sharing it. It's 48 teams. It's gone up from 32 to 48, and 16 groups of 3.
Oh no, is
Which
that what it is?
What?
16 groups of 3, and the top 2 from each group go through. Yeah,
Oh my God.
absolutely.
So
I knew it
you'd think
was
something
probably-
that corrupt would have involved Russia and Qatar. But,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah, it's the Americans and the lovely
Yeah.
Canadians who are causing all the trouble.
Yeah. I mean, to be
40, I
fair,
didn't like it
Canada
when it
looked
went up
very
from-
good.
What's that? Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, Canada looked very good the other day. Well, in the first 2 games, but yeah, America just stick to your own sports, guys. If you're going to call it a different name to the rest of the world, don't fucking get involved.
Mind you, they did okay against us, though, didn't they? They kept us at bay for the 90 minutes. They had the better chances. I'll give them that.
I mean, thankfully, I didn't see anything for the USA game. I was too busy bloody selling pies. But everyone we spoke to was just like, it's crap, it's shit. And they're like, but I mean, people calling for Southgate out after it as well. It's like, ease on now, mate. We lost to Iceland 6 years ago. Just calm your boots.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you know what? If we do win the World Cup, it'll be they didn't play anyone good. Because what you're meant to do when you've beat Iran 6-2, you're meant to say like, oh, actually, can you resurrect the 1970 Brazil squad and we'll play them instead? That's how it works. Yeah, and then last tournament in the Euros, it was England have had an easy draw. It's like we beat Germany. We beat Germany, a team who always beats us. Is that good enough for people?
I mean, to be fair, the things people are saying now, it's like, well, what we wanted 6 to 8 years ago was a team to play the way we're currently playing. All right, one result aside, one performance aside, USA, whatever. We wanted a team that would quite easily get out of the groups. And now we're a team that quite easily is getting out of the groups. We don't want that. We think that's beneath us. It's like, well, hang on, mate. We're supposed to be the inventors of football, but we've not won the bleeding trophy in 66 bleeding years. Like, just calm yourselves. Like, it's mental.
We've only ever won the World Cup when it's been held in a country where homosexuality is illegal. So it's happening. It's happening. Nailed on.
Yeah.
So we've got the Senegal game on Sunday. Obviously, it'll be exciting to play someone who's not South American or European in the second round. But before that, we've got the much more important matter of a spicy trip to Hartlepool. How are we feeling about that one?
It's spicy, all right, isn't it? I think it's a place where I don't think we've got a great record there over the years. I think that they're going to raise their game because of the whole Challenger effect. I think that they're bottom of the league, obviously, but maybe they're a little bit like we were when we weren't in great form. Nobody's hammering them. They're in games. They got a decent result of the weekend against Harrogate, didn't they? So I don't know. I'm not going there thinking, oh well, this we'll have a relatively easy ride out there. I think it'll be a tough one.
It'll definitely be very tough. I mean, I don't think I've walked into a single game this season and thought we're going to win this quite easily. But I mean, walked into Bradford away, thinking, oh, we're going to get absolutely battered here, and we won. And I thought the exact same at Salford, and that was far too convincing. But I just think the whole Challenger thing will gee up far too many of the wrong emotions for both teams. That will cause too much of an issue for both teams. We'll want to obviously show ourselves as a proper team, and we'll end up more than likely getting at least a single red card. And they'll have one player who played on the Challenger. He's probably going to be a centre half or whatever, and he's going to score an absolute stonker from a corner. And he's just going to go and celebrate right in front of him and Clint. I think so if I was anyone, I'd back a red card for County and 1-0 to Hartlepool.
Yeah, I think you just described it. Yeah.
It's one of them things that you can almost foresee happening.
Yeah. And of course, when you do get Hartlepool away, you definitely want it to be in December, don't you? with
Oh,
their
bloody
particular
hell.
climate. Oh, what
Oh
a
my
time for
God.
Hartlepool away. They get to
We
come to
went
us in
there.
May, and we've
It's
got to come
yeah.
in December. It's horrible.
I went. It was December a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Was it before COVID? And we went up there and lost 2-0.
Yeah.
Because I remember I'd got my son Frankie, like that was how I did pick Christmas presents. Like we're going to
Oh,
Hartlepool.
Happy
You know,
Christmas,
for the
mate.
tickets,
We're going to
and then,
Hartlepool.
like, can we not just stay another 20 miles and go and see me grandma? No, I just stopped in Hartlepool. And it was
and then
freezing. And we got to Hartlepool, and it was like we never found Hartlepool. We got up at the train station, and it was like, I don't know, 12 o'clock. We had this whole plan to get like fish and chips, and we couldn't find the town centre. We ended up in this like really, like, it made Edgeley look like Bramall. This area we're in was all boarded up terraced houses, and there was supposed to be a fish and chip shop on Google Maps. There wasn't. You could probably have bought like crack cocaine, but not fish and chips. And there was a part of town where it was like the harbour kind of district with bars, but they were all
At least
closed
one
down.
of those things would have kept you warm, though, Jonathan.
and then we managed to find we ended up in the ground. What I will say of Hartlepool's ground is at the corner of the ground, because there didn't seem anywhere to get a drink nearby. But the corner of the ground had the like their equivalent of the bungalow, didn't it? It was like the social club, like built into the ground, and that was dead nice, and it was dead hospitable, and there's plenty of county in, and I think that was some kind of guy being a bit of an MC, and kind of cheering everybody along. It was great. I was just happy to be warm.
Selling, was it?
I can't remember. But I just remember being happy to be warm and out of the threatening streets of Hartlepool. And but then we lost 2-0. Didn't we? Lost 2-0. And I think that was the game when Southern Hills was playing for them and Kitching, I think, and murdered were and from down the flanks. If I remember rightly, anyway.
We had John Rooney sent off that night as well.
Did we in that game at Hartlepool?
Was that the night he got caught out on camera calling the linesman a effing C?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Because I'm thinking of a Saturday game. It wasn't a nighttime game. The one I'm talking
Oh, it might be a different one then, yeah.
Yeah. It's always dark in Hartlepool.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be. It's what I thought Challoner's interview was funny when he said they said, so what do you think? What kind of reception will you get? And he said, well, I'm sure it'll be mixed. I thought that's optimistic. I don't think it'll be. There might be a couple of guys in the main stand from Hartlepool going, yes, fair enough.
Yeah.
That's about as mixed as it's going to be, by the way. But
yeah, and then you're going to have the Uber gammon Jeff Stelling screaming his head off at the back, almost like shouting into a vacuum. The weird old
with his fucking cat.
He's such an odd little man, isn't he? How is he still getting airtime on Sky or any form
that program's absolutely terrible. I mean, it was never great in the first place. But as soon as Kamara's gone and all that,
it was almost like like people look back fondly, very oddly fondly, at Richard Keys and Andy Gray, and it's like, well, hang about, man. These are just racist old men shouting shit at the telly on a Saturday afternoon. Oh, wait, the people that they're airing themselves to are racist old men shouting shit at the telly on a Saturday afternoon. Carry on. It's backwards, isn't it? I can't get it.
I mean, it could be worse, lads, because Lionel Messi's just missed a penalty. So,
bloody hell, what a washed up piece of shit. Him and Ronaldo, send them both to Saudi. I'm telling you, let them have a shootout. Who can score 100 a game for the next 2 years?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, absolutely. So
they've got nothing on Marcus Rashford.
Yeah. We'll get onto him in a bit actually, because what a guy. So. Big news this week. We had the fan zone announcement. They've got the planning permission. Is it going to be up for the 17th of December? Because that was the date that was mentioned. But I'm assuming they need to sort out the new car park first.
I believe the bungalow, as I walked past the other day, the bungalow is fully gone. It's flat. Long gone.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. I just, when I saw the announcement, I was thinking it was like the stadium redevelopment. I thought, oh, it'd be like 2 years' time. But is it happening like really quickly, this fan zone? I didn't know that.
Yeah, according to the reports and
Okay.
whatnot, is a very mid-December opening for that.
I'm very excited about that. I think, especially because I can't remember the last time I actually had a pint in the Cheadle End because it's just ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's great for the fact that it's going to be open pre-match, post-match, and you'll be able to get into it from the Cheadle End at half-time. I think it's great because a 5,000-seater stand with only capacity for 1,000 people on a concourse is bad economics and bad in a business sense,
Yeah.
really.
And capacity for 1,000, like, kind of squashed into a kind of glorified corridor, isn't it? Really, as
Yeah,
well. Do you know
that's
what I mean?
pretty
It's
much
kind
what
of-
it is, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Did either of you go to the Tranmere Rovers fan zone?
I did.
I
Yes,
like
that
the
little, it was almost like a tent.
It was a
We walked
marquee,
into
wasn't
it, yeah,
Yeah.
and then we went to the Boozer over the way instead. The Prenton, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, the reception was a little bit warmer in the market.
Okay, I like the marquee, and it made me think. Actually, you don't have to do anything spectacular with regards to the kind of construction, is what it made me think, because it was like a marquee. It was warm enough inside, and they had like about 17 different German lagers on or whatever, and it was all flags and stuff, wasn't it? They had a Duke Praga away kit flag, which you like that, Nick, half and half biscuit references. I just liked it. I thought this is all right. This, it wasn't, because I suppose what it is. I have this idea of fan zones as being something a little bit contrived, like you might have in international tournaments, like Budweiser, £6 a pint. But actually, that was like, it just felt like a genuine fan thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, you
So-
look at the fan zone outside. I really hate to use this reference, and I've used it a couple of times on the message boards. But you go outside City, you go outside the Etihad, and their fan zone thing, they've got all sorts going on. They've got bands playing, they've got street food, they've got local food vendors actually doing things, and it's all being supported. And it's a big part of the day, because the match day nowadays isn't just going to the Boozer out of heaven, turning up, soiling your trousers at 2:30 while you're getting in the ground. It's a full day event, and especially if
and
you're
you can
bringing
do all
kids
that
along.
and then go to the fan zone.
Exactly. Yeah. why can't you soil yourself at 11:30, then go to the fan zone?
The soil
People
zone.
have got it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the match day experience isn't just going to the football and the pub anymore. It's making a full day out of it. If you can leave your house at 11 o'clock and then leave get back home about 7 o'clock, and I've filled that day with a lot of exciting different things. It's a big thing for a lot of people to make sure the match day is as much of an impact as it can be on your week, because for the average man and woman around, going to the football on a weekend is one of the biggest things, and it needs to be made more of an occasion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all of that, and then I also think I don't know that I like having so much choice. It's like there's three choices now. It's like the Armory, Basque, and the fan zone. It's like I'm gonna have to work out which one to go to now. I'd start at 11, I guess. Go to all of them.
Well, that's it. You can start at Basque, then the Armory, then the fan zone. And then you can make your way back to Notion on the way back afterwards, Jonathan. That's a perfect day.
Get on the big fuck off zombies and crawl home as I did.
Do you remember your last big fuck off zombie, Nick? Because according to the CCTV, you really don't.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what. I need to stop with the cocktails, mate. I've got back into lager again now. I've become one of them people.
One of them persons, was that what? Bloody hell.
Yeah, it was persons. I think I'm still suffering from last night.
Are you drinking cores? Is that what it is? You've become a Tory now, have you?
Oh no! A good one. I quite like the neck oil at County, to be honest. Although it has gone downhill since Heineken took it over, but it's that'll do me. But am I right in thinking that the beer selection at the fan zone is going to be the same as what's in the ground, but it's the food that will be different?
could not tell you, mate. I don't know anything about that.
No, you're definitely the wrong man to ask.
I
But it's
really
interesting.
am. Yeah.
These things all add up. A friend of the show and friend of ours, Ben Walker, he posted a nice post on Yellowboard today. It's an article from The Athletic. Just in terms of, I mean, Salford are the focus for the article, strangely, in terms of a match day experience, which is odd. But it's
Really?
just
When
all
nobody
these.
goes.
Yeah, it's mad, but it's just all these little things that add up. So how easy it is to find out fixtures, buy a ticket, where to park, travel, like accessibility support, how do you get tickets, who do you speak to if there's someone sat in your seat, and all these little things kind of add up when it comes to getting new fans in. As long as they're not dickheads, if they've got a United or City shirt on, then just direct them in completely the wrong direction. You've got my blessing for that.
If they've got a United or City shirt on, just literally send them up the stairs for somebody to boot them back down, because it's wrong. Don't go to a different club wearing a different club shirt. It's disgusting.
I wonder if we'll see a bit of that next Wednesday at the Charlton game.
We probably will. It'll be the same
Yeah.
people who threw out the excuse of, we kept you going in the 90s. All right, Les Battersby, shut up.
Yeah. Why do 95% of Man City fans look like paedophiles? There must be something in that. But it's weird.
I think it all stems from Mike Summerby, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he did wipe his nose on the Old Trafford corner flag, though. So we'll give him that.
Can
one.
we edit that out before I get like a lawsuit or something?
Yeah. Well, we'll just add it to all the ones. We'll get Kim Kardashian's dad to defend us. He's up for a hopeless case, isn't he? He'll be
That's us going on holiday next year, mate.
Yeah, his job's a good one. Kind of something that goes hand in hand with the fan zone announcement as well is the car parking discount at the NCP near the station, which is something I know a lot of people have wanted for a while. I think that'll make a big difference. I think I know in Germany, when you buy your season ticket, you get like travel passes included with it, like to and from the games on the trains and stuff like that. And I'd really love to see something like that catch on over here. But mind you, with our rail network, there's been no point.
You may as well drive.
Yeah.
We'll give you a fuel allowance if you buy a season ticket. I mean, to be fair, I think we're one of the most accessible football grounds around. Right? I mean, you look at, obviously, the trains from Manchester, average one every 6 minutes. And then you've got the bus routes and everything, literally just outside of the M6 and the M60 and whatever. But we're very, very accessible as a football ground. And we do need to be doing more for fans who are driving, especially away fans, because that's going to deter people who want to come for an away day. If they can't park anywhere, they're not going to make the journey, are they? And just make it a little bit more of an even platform for people to get here by public transport or by driving. Just make it cheaper to park.
Because it is amazing how everything is just everything's within walking distance once you do get to the ground. You've got the centre of Stockport, you've got Castle Street with plenty of pubs and places to eat and stuff like that. So we should be taking advantage of getting people down there early and stuff. And the parking is it. I think that's half the reason that some of the local residents are objecting to stuff, because they're worried about the parking situation. I mean, they're not voicing them worries. They're on about bloody newts and frogs and shit. But
am I right in thinking like all the streets near the ground are all permit on match day though? So anywhere just directly off Hardcastle Road is permit only.
Yeah, I think probably are, but it's probably more about getting back and forwards and driving out to Morrison's, isn't it? I always think, who is that person who, when you come out of the Cheadle end at 20 to 5 on a Saturday, and there's always one resident of Hardcastle Street who's decided that's the time they need to get their week shopping in. And driving past the main stand, like, who are all these people at 20 to 5 on a Saturday?
I've got fish fingers defrosted here, mate. Let me through.
It's like, have you just moved in? Like, what is this? You know what I mean?
So people like that, it's very similar to the idiots who move into the Northern Quarter and complain about night and day. It's it's all absolute lunacy, isn't
It's like it's not exactly as if it's not quite obvious. You know, the
Yeah.
floodlights give it away a bit, don't they?
Yeah,
As
of course.
does the big massive 2-tier stand. You know what I mean? And the fact that
Imagine
you
buying
can't
a
get yourself
house
the
and
telly because the
thinking,
stand's in the way. You know.
yeah, imagine buying a house and thinking, oh, what's this big, massive stadium thing here for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no,
It's
it's
a
great. It's
football
great the way
ground.
they do it. We're right there in the centre, and I think they would take it. I don't know if they take it for granted, but I think that's it's like when we go away to places sometimes and then the back and beyond. You know what I mean? Like when we went to Chesterfield, for instance. And I think
Luton away,
great,
especially.
wasn't it? Eh?
So that Luton away, going through that ginnel towards somebody between two houses.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
walking
probably
through
the-
someone's front room.
Yeah, it's probably the worst entrance to a football ground you could have ever picked.
I like that though. I like a ground surrounded by or in the middle of terraced houses as opposed to on a trading estate in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? So
That's why
you know,
it's a shame that Goodison's going because
Yeah.
Goodison Park is almost like a larger scale version of Edgeley Park. I
It
always
really
find.
is, yeah. Outside the
such a shame that
Gladys
goes.
end and everything, it's just terraced houses everywhere, which
Yeah,
is exactly
absolutely love
where
that.
a football ground should be. Right,
But
flat bang in the middle of the people that are supporting the club.
There's nothing like that to make you feel lucky about what we've got when you do that. It's places like Chesterfield and stuff, just industrial estates on it. Just they're all identical. All these new stadiums.
Yeah.
Same with
Yeah.
Scunthorpe. They used to have a stadium in the middle of town.
Doncaster
And
as
now
well,
industrial stadium. Doncaster, Rotherham. It's so depressing. Like surely it takes away
Hull.
the whole community vibe as well. Hull as well.
Hull's
It's
old
just
ground used to be
horrible.
fantastic, and now, I mean, they even built an arena there for that live music, and it's a 20-minute drive from the centre of town. It's awful. We went out to Hull to see Catfish and the Bottlemen, and it was harder to get from the town centre to the gig venue than it was to get from Manchester to Hull. And these things, like putting stadiums in the middle of nowhere, it's going to kill off the game for a lot of lower league teams.
It's just, I mean, that was part of the attraction for me. Like growing up in Shore Heath and being able to like see the floodlights. If it hadn't been for that, I could have ended up supporting any old shite. So
Like City.
Well, I won't go that far. I think I'd have ended up being the red lot if it had been one of them two. I think just because I had more mates who supported them than City, but it just doesn't bear thinking about either way, does it?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have started going to county if they'd been playing at Woodley. You know what I mean? It really was because it was like when I lived in Leven Student, they were down the road in the 192. Now I live in SK2. You know, they're down Shore Heath, and it's part of the place where you live, isn't it? You know, and I think that's part of what gives county that feel. So I think what my most reassuring thing of all the things that Mark Stott said, you know, because he said a championship in 7 years, well, we'll get there, fantastic. You know, we don't, also fantastic. But the reassurance that, you know, we are going to play at Edgeley Park, you know, I just think that's really good.
Edgeley Park is a big thing for what's going on, and the fact that Mark Stott and his whole team are prepared to invest in Edgeley Park to not only renovate and regenerate the whole stadium, and the fact the plans look amazing. I think that's a massive reassurance to a lot of county fans that he's in it for the right reasons.
For all the talk of the stadium being a permanent fixture and everything, we've lost another permanent fixture this week in Ash Palmer, which I think you could see it coming. He's been in and out of the team this season, and Horsfall's stepped up. I think Lewis is the natural deputy to Horsfall, who's going to improve from learning from him. So it makes sense to that. And he's gone to Chesterfield, so he might be responsible for denying Wrexham another title. So you can't say fairer than that, can you?
No, I mean I'm absolutely gutted. Ash has gone. Of that team of players that got out of the north and then carried us on, Keane, Minion, Palmer, Hinchliffe. See Ash go. I mean, Ash, everyone slates him when he makes a mistake, and fair play. We know he's got a mistake in him. He's a lower league player, but every time he makes a mistake, he steps up and redeems himself magnificently. Bolton away, Bolton at home is the finest example of that.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Andy, because I was going to message you both and ask for your favourite Ash Palmer moment, but I thought, well, it's just going to be this, isn't it?
More Stockport pressure. And the header into the back of the net. Ash Palmer, who scored an own goal after 5 minutes, sent Edgeley Park berserk. It's 3-3 with 5 minutes to go.
Honestly, the most mental I've ever gone at any goal ever.
Yep.
Like, the bruises I had after that, oh my word.
I think I ripped my mate's coat after that, actually.
Quite right as well. Send the invoice to Ash Palmer, he'll sort it.
You can still hear the
it's one of
thump,
them,
can't you? His thump, you can hear when it bounces off his head. And
the
you know,
silence in the ground as the corner's taken, you can hear thud, thud of the net, and it's silent for like 0.5 of a second.
It exploded, didn't it? On that last angle there, I love how it's like entirely fair. It's not a foul, but he basically just the momentum of him coming through, as well as thudding the ball in the back of the net. He sends these two great big massive Bolton defenders just kind of spread eagle because the ball area. Do you know what I think about that goal? I think that if you want to give an argument against VAR ever sullying the doors of our level of football, it's like, there it is. Because imagine that goal there and those celebrations and ripping your mate's coat off and everything else, Andy. You kind of couldn't really let go with that, because actually I was going to take 6 looks and see, was it a little bit too much contact on the opposition centre half at the challenge? Because it's that kind of goal, isn't it? You know what I mean?
It was one of the moments, really, wasn't it, where it's just like you thought it could happen, you didn't think it would happen, and then when it did happen,
hadn't it? It had been building, but you kind of you dared to think that it could happen, but you didn't. You know, it wasn't as if you didn't quite believe it, and then it did, and it was tremendous, wasn't it? And like, I remember you used the phrase, Nick, at the time, the redemption arc of him having scored the own goal earlier on in the game and then coming back with that. So,
I mean, even the own goal angle was terrible. It bounced off his ankle. He cleared it poorly, fair enough, but it bounced off his ankle, and there was nothing, neither him or was it Hinchliffe in net that night? No, or was it
Ethan Ross?
Ethan Ross, that's right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I always forget his name. The big lanky useless one who's now on loan in the obscure league below us. Who cares about it?
Yeah, in that league we never have to worry about again.
Yeah, hopefully. It was one of them. It was just, it was nothing Ash could have done to avoid that goal. There was no way of it. But if there was anyone who was going to get us back into that game, it was going to be Ash. And you could see that from the moment we went 2 behind with his own goal and everything. It was always going to be, Ash was going to be a vital part of that game, as much as he has been for his entire time with us. And there's no player I would ever say has given more of an effort and more of his own body towards us achieving what we have done over the last couple of years than Ash. You'd sort of compare him to Flinney.
What can you say? Yeah, that's it. Like, and I noticed Flinney saying some nice words about him on Twitter as well.
Yeah, that's the only player you could ever compare Ash Palmer to is Mike Flynn, for the effort, for the desire, for whatever he put himself through for our club. You couldn't ask any human being to do more for us.
Yeah.
Ash Palmer put his own body fully on the line, week in, week out for us. I know it's the sort of thing you'd hear in fucking WWE or whatever. It's like, oh my God, he's put his body on the line. Ash Palmer literally put his head in the way of footballs and boots and whatever to stop us conceding goals. And I personally will be forever grateful for Ash Palmer for everything he's ever done for our club.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I would offer more, but I'm just going to show that goal again because
More Stockport pressure. And the header into the back of the net. Ash Palmer, who scored an own goal after 5 minutes, sent Edgeley Park berserk. It's 3-3 with 5 minutes to go.
What I love about that as well is that when he's celebrating, he is just doing what we'd all do and just letting out every swear word he knows.
Yeah.
He's like, fucking bet, you fucking
None of you are
he's-
scowling at the cameras, are you kind of?
He's
you
doing
know,
the opposite to what I'd do, because
poker
I'd
face.
point at my mates and say, fuck you, instead of pointing at my missus and saying, that's for you. Like, I'd be there walking around like, oh, you're a dick. Like, he's there going straight to his missus and being like, yeah. It's like, I suppose that's why he's made it.
As well. You know, like, okay, yeah, of course he had a mistake, and like any defender at our level, but a little bit like Ben, isn't it? You get some people who've maybe got a little bit of an agenda there, and I just want to pick on whatever laps. But
I think a lot of that comes back to who the manager was that brought him in.
Yeah, and I think when he was played to his strengths in a defensive system that worked for him, then he was really good, wasn't he? And I think the Leicester game this year, he played against Leicester, didn't he? You know, you saw what a defender he was there. You know, because okay, maybe he wasn't the quickest, but as that middle man in that back three, as he was that day, there was nothing getting past him.
No,
there was nothing getting past him. And I think his appreciation and his anticipation as well were better than was maybe his appreciated sometimes. Not just his amazing heading of everything. There was more to him than that.
His understanding of the game defensively was a lot better than anyone. No, he probably would have gone a lot higher in the leagues had he had that extra yard of pace, or if he'd have been able to pass the ball a little bit better or play out from the back. But there's a reason he was playing at the level he was.
There's a reason he was playing there, and it's a little bit like with Ben. Like we're talking about his distribution. You know, if there's ever a game when Ben doesn't just once in the game just like launch the ball into the main stand, I don't quite like that. And similarly with Ash Palmer, it's like I like that moment when he just looks up and studiously kind of looks up, explores his options, and then just kind of lobs it kind of out of play, about kind of level with the opposition in the penalty area. It's like I'll miss that. You know what I mean? I'll miss it.
I'm sure there's a fan in the main stand that's really pissed Ben off. And every game he's just aiming for the bastard. He's like, I'm going to get you once, and then I'll stop.
Is that what it is? He's been hitting like the guy in the next seat, or peppering that whole general area this whole time.
There's one bloke in the next brace who said nothing and gets it every week. And there's a guy 2 rows behind him. He's like, he's shitting.
Yeah, but people say his distribution's not that good. It's like actually put Sarcevic in the goal area and pass the ball back to him with the big heavy centre forward running at him, and ask him to pick a guy out 80 yards to be on the left wing and see how he gets on. You know what I mean? It's like he's not doing so bad, actually. I don't think really.
Speaking of Sarcevic, though, is he going to America? That's a rumor.
That's what I saw someone mention. He's off to the MLS. Yeah.
I mean, he's not even good enough for our 4th division. But Christ, if he's good enough for their Premier Division, no wonder they've not qualified out of the group. Let him have him.
Well, I mean, if he does end up leaving, maybe that frees up a space up top for Shimanga if we drop Paddy Madden back into the number 10 role. That's what I'd do.
I think, to be honest,
I'm just going to keep banging at this Shimanga drum.
Paddy's passing, and that assist for Hippolyte the other week was just stunning, wasn't it, really? There was nobody else in our team that had been able to pick that pass out the way Paddy Madden did.
He sees passes, doesn't he? We actually need at least 2 Paddy Maddens on the pitch.
Oh, but if we had 10 Paddy Maddens, we'd be in the Premiership. You know, just
I don't want that.
Alone. I just want one season there, just to go to like a shithole like Crystal Palace or whatever. And like just have a good day out. Like,
and the old Conference League run as well, that'll do.
Yeah, real fans against real fans. There's none of that in the Premiership anymore, is there? I think you'd say maybe Palace are the only real team that are there. I think something
Let's
like
have us
that.
there
I'd
to
be dead now.
shake it up for a season and that'll. Well, can we just have like 7 Paddy Maddens and get to the Championship? Can we? That'd be all right,
I
wouldn't it?
think, honestly, I think we maybe need a Shamanga to get to the Championship with a squad.
Wouldn't that just be lovely? Put
Oh,
a couple of $100 grand and then sell him on for a couple of million. Oh,
yeah.
lovely stuff.
I think, to be honest, you sign him. The rumour going around is we're signing him for what, 150k, 250k, whatever. If we spent 250k on Kabongo Shamanga and he got us up to League One this season with his goals, he has paid for himself eightfold. You get £2 million for going just into League One. That's him paid for, plus a £1.75 million bonus. Spend the money if he is the player that will get us there. And I believe he's the player that will get us there.
For me, he's the best striker I've seen at non-league level. In terms of his all-round game, I think his all-round game is a lot better than Vardy's was when he was at Fleetwood.
I think
he's just got a bit of everything.
The last player I seen at this or thereabouts level that was this good was Aaron McLean for Peterborough.
Yeah.
And there's a massive similarity between the two.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Peterborough, actually, because that's exactly what we should be doing, which is what they do, getting these players from non-league and then developing them and selling them on.
George Hurst, sold on for loads. The lad that, what was he called him with the long hair that went to Burnley? I forget his name. He looked like a tosser and he didn't do anything anyway. Sold him for a load of money to Burnley. There's plenty of players that they've taken on from non-league levels and sold on to Championship, Premiership, and made an absolute fortune. If Mark Stock can be the new Darren McAntony, I would be very happy.
Yeah, I'd take that. I think I said that on air when we first got taken over, and it was just it's a no-brainer. Like if you want to build a sustainable football club, that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, we've got the stuff in place with the academy and the training ground and everything now. So I think we'll see a few more coming through to the first team from there, and then we've already started it signing the likes of Evans and Wootton and what have you. Obviously, it's a different
Cody
success so
Johnson.
far.
We turned down nearly £500,000 for Cody Johnson from Watford, if I'm correct with that.
I think they had holding, didn't they, as well?
That's right, yeah. £500,000 for the kid. We know by next season if we go up to League One, Cody Johnson starts in that Ryan Crosdale world. I really believe that.
I love Cody Johnson.
His distribution with the ball.
Yeah. He's such awareness.
Aladis has said George Boyd is exactly who I'm thinking of. And
George Boyd,
correct.
that's the one.
That's the one I'm thinking of, yes. Yeah, long-haired knobhead who ended up at Burnley. Did absolutely now. Spot on that. Thank you. But yeah, Cody Johnson is the future. Players like that are the absolute future.
Definitely. Well, before we wrap up, we did mention it earlier on that England played last night and what have you. England's goals scored by 2 Mancs, if you're a tedious ball bag, that is. Andy, thoughts, please.
I mean, do you know what, right? So for me, I'm a Manc, right, and I'm a County fan, so that's me divided straight away between the two. But do you know what, right? I wouldn't call Stockport as part of Manchester ever, but at the end of the day, it's 2 local lads going on to a World Cup to score for their national teams, and you can argue the piss all you want about that. These are 2 lads from absolute nothing areas going on to achieve something fantastic. Forget whether it's Manchester, Stockport, Cheshire, Lancashire, Greater Manchester, whatever. It's just 2 local boys that we need to be supporting. 2 local people that have done seriously good, especially good in Marcus Rashford's case. So, if you ask me, I'm a man from Manchester and I've got massive interest in Stockport. We're all Mancs. We're all fucking one lot of people together. We all believe in the same thing.
I feel like I've just had a pill.
That's a political slogan, if ever you've heard it. Chancellor Matt Wynne or whatever you're called, balls to you, mate. I'm taking your seat in Edgeley, mate.
I'd vote for you any day of the week. Any day, and twice on Sundays. So yeah, I'm one of those who thinks, well, we're in Cheshire, but we're also in Greater Manchester. The two districts for two different purposes. So does it really matter? But I think we do have more of our own identity as a town than some other places do, like around Manchester. Like if you look at like maybe the likes of Rochdale and Oldham, to name but two, I think we've got more of our own
nothing
thing going on.
areas, yeah. Unfortunately, like areas that really don't have anything going for them. And you know,
I think
it's like
yeah. Before I came to live in Stockport, I kind of thought I didn't really realise how much of a civic identity Stockport has until I was here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of thought when I was, I lived in Levenshulme until I came here about 10 years ago, and I suppose I thought, well, yes, Stockport, it's in Greater Manchester. It's
Yeah.
Is it just a suburb of Manchester, really? But then you get to Stockport, like, no, it's not just Stockport County. There's a real identity to the town and the people that live here, isn't there? So
massive identity, and you know what? I'll say it from seeing it from both sides of the coins. From both sides of the coin, sorry. The people of Stockport are literally salt of the earth sort of people, and I'd never say anything bad against anyone from Stockport because I don't have anything bad to say. And the same with people from Manchester. It's like, but at the end of the day, we've got to, especially at Stockport, we've got to accept that what's going on in Stockport right now would not be possible if the boom that has happened in Manchester over the last 15 years, if that hadn't have happened, there wouldn't be people branching out to areas of Stockport. Like, I probably wouldn't have gone to Stockport first if there'd have been an opportunity first to go to Manchester. But at the end of the day, I don't regret my decision one bit. Stockport is an amazing town, amazing place full of amazing people. And this is the sort of thing that helps, because if Manchester wasn't so, what would you say, affluent as it is at the minute, Stockport won't be receiving the attention it was, because these people would be going elsewhere to spend the money or invest the money. And Stockport, I'm not going to say we need to be thankful for it, but we need to appreciate it and understand it a little bit more than it looks on the surface of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's probably the wisest thing that's ever been said on here, and it's come from a guest. That's really really annoying. You have to come back and step it up next week, Russ.
A knobhead guest as well.
Yeah, I know. Just a double whammy of disillusionment, isn't it? Oh, what a time to be alive. Quick. Before we shoot off, my good friend Emma has asked me if there's any plans for if we reach the semi-finals. Some of you may have seen it, but after several pints last night, I've committed to having the Foden Thunderbolt in my hair if we get to the semi-finals. And if we win the whole thing, I'll be going for the full Foden haircut, which is going to be ridiculous. But luckily, we're going to be getting knocked out by France in the quarterfinals. So
hang on, didn't France lose to Tunisia,
but they still finished top of the group. Yeah, still finished top of the group. Argentina currently a goal up against Poland, and Mexico beating Saudi Arabia at the moment as well. See, this shit's all over Soccer Saturday. This is loads better.
To be honest, there's nobody that we could come up against in the next 2 rounds that does actually worry me in the slightest. I think Senegal, obviously, we don't really know that much about them, apart from Sadio Mane.
Yeah, and even he's out.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about France. I'm not worried about Argentina. What we're going to come up against an aging Lionel Messi who can't take on a left back. All we need is give Luke Shaw a couple of hamburgers and hit him hard, hit him fast.
I'd love to conquer Argentina again. I'd love that.
Yeah, there's a peanut butter milkshake in it for you, Luke, if you hit him. Nobody's boss, I'll have him.
Is that Didier Deschamps on the phone to you there, Jonathan?
Yeah, I know.
As soon as Andy said he's not worried about France, your phone rang. He's like, oh,
jazzy ringtone that as well.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried about France, I must say, but I don't know. We're gonna pick Kyle Walker against them, aren't we? Because he's the only one that can keep up with Mbappe. That's the thing I heard last night.
But I mean, to be fair, Mbappe's not scored as many as Marcus Rashford. And Kylian Mbappe hasn't fed as many people as Marcus Rashford has. So, balls to Mbappe, Rashford all the way.
Well,
We're going to be all right.
I had an episode title lined up, but I think that's it there. Yeah, I think that's what we'll just call every episode that until we inevitably win the World Cup.
Honestly,
Right,
I'm with
go on.
Gary Lineker. I think if it's not this one, it's the next one or the one after. I think within the next 2 tournaments, we're going to win.
It's getting to when rather than if now, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems that way. It's almost like
actually.
that Spain squad, isn't it? When everyone was like, "Oh, they'll do it," and it took them 2 goals to do it, and then they did it for the following 2 competitions after that. So
yeah,
I don't think we're badly placed to actually be winners this time. I'm not getting carried away because it doesn't feel like a World Cup. It's in the middle of fucking winter, and we're losing out on half of our normal season for it.
Yeah.
Well, the next elite level game in this country is Boxing Day. It's like usually you're playing 3 times a week now. It's too far spread out for us as a nation of people. We're not used to this.
Yeah, that's it. We're very set in our ways, aren't we?
Yeah.
And talking of being set in our ways, Jonathan, before we go, what has fast become a vital part of the away match day is back this Saturday, is it not?
We are back, Nick. Yes, after being away last week because I was away up in the northeast. The away day show returns on Saturday morning at its usual time of 9:30. So, for anybody who hasn't watched before, then it's the essential match day build-up with get the county conversation going and play a few tunes along the way and
some of the best selection of tunes as well.
Oh, there you go, Andy. It's eclectic, let's put it that way. So there'll be something for everybody, and we have got we like to have a county fan guest on, who also chooses their tune, their Edgeley Roundabout Island Disc. Let's get this right, and I can hereby announce that this weekend it's actually he's in the chat. He's listening tonight. It's none other than John K. Billsbury, JK49B.
Oh, good old John, long-time friend of the show.
No, who has
we
been
do
on
love
before,
Bills, we do.
who has been on before. And by the way, when I say the song choices are eclectic, then John has pulled all the stops out this time round for his Edgeley Roundabout Island Disc. So we'll be talking county, and there will be the poll taking the pulse of the county nation as well, which will go on Twitter sometime during the week, and the winner revealed of what the pulse of the county nation is. When I can think what the poll's going to be, because I haven't thought of what it's going to be this week yet. So yeah, all tune in if you want to. It's on the address of it is on the screen down the bottom there.
Yeah, it's ticking along the bottom there. And if you're listening to the audio version, that I'll be releasing probably in about 20 minutes time after we finish this. We'll put the audio one out, and then if you just go into the episode description on your podcast player of choice, then you can find the links to that as well as all our other links. And you might as well just subscribe and rate and review and all that while you're there, because it all helps. Right, chaps. Thank you, Jonathan, for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
And Andy, it's always an experience, mate. Always.
Always, mate. I like to keep you all on your toes. It's nice.
That's it. Well, someone's got to, yeah. Well, it's normally me keeping Russ on his toes, so
exactly.
It's just
somebody's
nice
got to be you for the evening, and
yeah, that's it.
Those shoes.
Yeah, just some belligerent knobhead. Right, we will be back. we won't be back on Wednesday next week because it's the Charlton replay, and we won't be back on Thursday because myself and Russ are both busy. So next week we may be looking at a Sunday live show on the Sabbath, no less. Mental, absolutely mental. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And we've also got a little Christmas gathering coming up at Stockport Gin, and we'll be releasing details of that in the next couple of days. Going to send some invites out, and yeah, it'll be a good little. We're having a little big fat football quiz that Russ is going to have to keep me and Andy in check because we're on the same team. So get well soon, Russ, because you're going to need it. So we're keeping an eye out for that this week. Yeah, that's about it. Cheers, fellas. It's been a pleasure. I just need to
Thank you. Thank you.
I was getting all excited then.
Cheers,
Andy.
It's good to see you, Jonathan. Take care, chaps. Thank you for having me again.
Anytime, mate. You are always welcome.
Very inept at getting my camera on, it seems.
At least
I will not get a lawsuit.
we could hear you, and that's the main thing. And now I've just got to run round and try and find the end. Right, say bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Everyone.